and the trends that were going on around that time. I'm not gonna carry it whatsoever, because at the end of the day, at least I know who I am as a person, and I take things meaningful, things that matter to me in music. And like I said, and not only that, with clothes too, and hairstyle as well. Even though some people say this might not be a hairstyle, it's just like you just walk out of bed. But in the end, I'm not gonna carry at the end of the day, because I'm always gonna be myself. I'm not gonna, try to kiss up to people, be something I'm not, or lie to people of who I am. Because, like I said back then, I could never express myself and stuff. I always felt different and stuff. And even though clothes were everything to me, like I said earlier, to like clothes, baggy shirt, or hairstyle, like it could be a mohawk or whatever it is, a slip back. It was always my personality wise. I'll never follow the crowd, and like I said, I was proud of who I was, because at the end of the day, you see how people are nowadays. They want to relive the past. They can't look towards the future and stuff, and they want to relive those things, but part of it's already too late. It's already too late for all that stuff. And some people that were criticizing me too, you will always suck, in my opinion. I'm always gonna have zero respect for you whatsoever. Even though people might say on my video too that you should forgive and stuff, even though I did forgive, but I'm never gonna have respect for them whatsoever, knowing that feeling that I always carried, the emotional weight that I already had, the things that I was criticized, that knowing that I couldn't embrace to be myself. Like I said, clothes, shoes, and everything. And people want to relive and wear shoes and try to do their live like the early 2000s and stuff, knowing that they never had the chance, or they may have chance but they didn't embrace it. They wanted to look forward and continue the future and stuff, and follow every single trend. For me, I'm not gonna follow the trend. To this day, I will never follow the trend. I don't care what anyone thinks of me. Like I said, I'm not gonna be something I'm not whatsoever. When it comes to clothes, hairstyle, when it comes to anything, I will never follow. At the end of the day, I will do something different, and I will put always those things in the past and never look back. And like I said before, to me, all these videos I ever make, they will always be my time capsule, and part of me, I will never look back at these videos again. I might not even watch my videos ever again, look back or rewatch them. The ones that I know I can't, and are always hard for me to make, because there's some of them that were hard for me to make as well. But in the end, I do want to make a difference, and there's a reason why I share my story, even though I may despise myself, I might despise the world as a whole, in general, what it is now. But at the end of the day, I could say at least I made a difference by sharing my story. Even though I hate crying, I hate laughing, I hate showing my emotions, because I know, like I said, I hid myself away from everything, and I walked away from everything too. And like I said, I walked away from social media for 9 years. Never thought I would make it back too. And like I said, and then part of me made it. When I did come back on social media again, I use alias names. I'm not going to use my real name. I don't want people to know whether I'm alive or not. Because in the end, I don't want certain people, I don't want them back in my life. And that's the truth. I don't want certain people back in my life whatsoever, knowing that they never had my back. Or, they always judge me and criticize me, and yet they want to patch things up. In my mind, I could forgive them, but in the end, I don't want to talk to them or be near them whatsoever. Knowing the stuff that happened to me as a kid, as a teenager, everything. Knowing that it was always like me against the world, always. Knowing that always isolated, never felt like I was part of the world as well. Knowing that my humanity got taken away from me, knowing that I couldn't express myself, knowing my freedom was taken away, and then part of my dignity was gone too, as well. And another thing I wanted to do, talk about too, what made me, step away and everything from the media as well. Besides me getting cyberbullied as well, was music. When I wrote my music, people used me. People used me in general. They were calling me a rapper and stuff, knowing that damn well I did not want to be called a rapper. They called me the stupidest name they ever gave me in middle school, considering me, knowing that knowing that I listen to rock and new metal. They call me Rock Boy, even though to me, to this day, I will always find that name stupid, and I'll never put that name on myself, because I always found it disgusting, knowing that I was judged, knowing that I never looked at, I was never looked the same as everyone else. They're treated the same as well. And part of me always gonna hate that name. And like I said, people use me. They act like they wanted to be my friends, and saying this and that, and saying that, like I said, just to get popular and stuff. Because even when I went to high school too, as well. When I went to high school, I was still continuing making music, making things that were meaningful, and I was criticized too when I was making music, even like I said, even in high school too, people criticized me, and they thought they were calling me a rapper too. And they're like, no, I don't want to be a rapper. A rapper sucks. I don't want to be a rapper. Most because during that time, every rapper, they all have stupidest names. Then sometimes they don't have nothing meaningful. And I always hated the genre to what it became as well. Because everything all became about shaking butts, or do all these things, or drugs, all these negative activity that doesn't have a meaning, and it brings people down. And there's people, I don't know how people could listen to all that garbage to me, because in the end, it will never bring nothing in your life. It will never make things easier for you. It will never help you overcome your problems in life. It's just gonna make you do wrong choices in life. And like I said, I take life too seriously. And when I made music, knowing that, and the reason why I made music so serious and made everything all relatable was because of the people I've lost in middle school, knowing that their life, knowing they opened up, and I did hear other people's stories, even adults too, who talk about their life, and part of me made me realize that I should make music about things that could relate to anyone, and make a change and make a difference. And even like I said, I was criticized, knowing that most of my music had meaning, or meaningful, but in a way dark, and people criticized about it, and they say they hate that garbage that I write, because they say it's all negative. And my mind is like, it's something I wrote, not you. Why you should criticize what I write? Why would you care? You're not gonna care. It's not your stuff. You're not the one that's writing it. You're not the one that's gonna care about making a difference. You just probably in your mind just want to bring people down, make stupid stuff. And there's people who have told me as well, even though this is towards a person I know, but I had no hate towards them, but he always told me that I should write about happy music. And I told this kid too that part of me is that I can't write music that are happy, because in the end I don't know what it's like to be happy, because everything I ever experienced was always trauma and stuff, and all this baggage, and in this emotional way that I had to carry, embracing it. And then part of me, and like, I know I bottle that stuff up in, and I know people might say you should have not done that to yourself. But in the end, like I said before in my other videos, I was always too afraid to open up. I never wanted to be a burden whatsoever to anyone, thinking that I'm a lost cause. And like I said, I struggled a lot too, but getting to the point with the music and stuff, when I was writing, and people always wanted to record me or try to use me, saying that they're my friends, then that I'm a part of them. In reality, at first I thought they were in high school. I thought they were my friends and stuff. Certain people, I can't say everyone, but there were some people I thought was. In the end, I realized they weren't, because they was trying to look at me and saying things about the songs that I write and things. And some people would say, oh, if I did, freestyle, always wanted to do battle rap. Because there was a time I did do battle rap with certain people, but in the end, I made sure I wasn't recorded. I told people, if we do battle rap or anything, I don't want to be recorded whatsoever. But people did and stuff. And the only way I would during that time too, before I walked away from the media too, was I did it myself. If I'm gonna record my voice and everything of myself, it has to be from me, nobody else. I don't want people just using me or just to get views, attention, or popularity in school. And like I said, I didn't want to be used that way. And when I did make music and I did express certain music, and I did make a music called on 9/11 and the last day of my life and stuff like that, back in 16 and 17 when I was making stuff for music, and I did make music as well. And I did express myself on social media, thinking that I was safe. And during that time, I was always safe and stuff to express myself, but I didn't. I was never, I was never allowed to express myself. I was criticized for my pictures. I was talked down on, even my pictures when I tried to smile, even though they might be the fakest smile you will ever see. But in the end, I wanted to be myself. I wanted to express myself. I wanted to, enjoy life. I didn't think. I thought I was always safe. During that time, I thought social media was a safe place for me, knowing that people won't, criticize me and stuff, knowing that it might be different from school. But in the end, that wasn't the case for me. In a way, it hurted me more than the people that hurted me than school. Certain things that the people said in school to me. And like I said, there was times I cried in my room. There's times, I felt ashamed of myself. I always felt ashamed. I always felt like that my existence never mattered. I always felt that way when I posted things and stuff, when I made music too. And when I made music, people always made fun of me, laugh at me too. Saying that even in school, they said the music that I write, no one's gonna listen to that garbage, and it doesn't mean anything. Who cares about the stuff I write? And another time too, when I was making my social media too, I did make my own website. Around maybe 16 or 17, I did make my own website. I never got to finish it. I pretty much abandoned it because the cyberbullying that I experienced and people taking my dignity away from me, knowing that they were criticizing the music I wrote, and I wanted to express, I wanted to make a difference because I didn't want to always be negative, always have hate, because like I said, in middle school I did some of the stuff I did write, it were all negative. But in the end, when I went to high school, before I went to high school, like my final month, the final 2 months in middle school, I did try to make things meaningful. I did it. In the end, it's like, I'm gonna make stuff about life situations and stuff. And I did make a meeting, like I said, when I made the website, I did call it beginning of 2000s, around that time. I made it that website. I made a website, but I never continued, and pretty much it got abandoned. Like I said, I abandoned it, knowing that I couldn't express myself as a kid, knowing that I couldn't, I did share some of the artists that during that time on my Instagram, my old Instagram account, Facebook account, and stuff. I did mention about the stuff that I did like and the things that. For Instagram, I did mention a lot of artists that meant a lot, the music that meant a lot for me, and things that made me, feel happy about myself. Even though I may be weird as a kid, expressing myself, showing the weirdest things, and acting looking weird and goofy, but yeah, I was all criticized for it. I was always criticized for it, like I said. There's people who wanted me to hang myself, There's people who wanted me to just die already. And people said, how can this guy be happy if he feels like a potato? And I just always getting a lot of shit, and people were just saying negative, rude stuff to me, even on Facebook. because it was a picture that I had, and it told me that like I had a dick in my mouth and stuff, and part of me like in the end I didn't want to continue social media, and I walked away from it. I walked away because another thing too, like I said, when I used emojis as well around that time, 2016 or 17 or whatever year around that time, I did use emojis around that time. In the way I was describing myself, but in the end I was always called gay. They say you're a pussy and they're calling me a bitch. I got all these negative comments. Facebook, Instagram. I couldn't express myself, like I said. I always felt like I was trapped. And like I said too, I always thought that I was safe. I thought I could, at least I could express myself and be myself as a person, but that was never the case for me. Because in the end, I just hated my existence so much. And I didn't want to walk away from people. Never wanted to be hurt again. And in my mind, when I got off of social media, I told myself, this is it. Alex, you're dead. Just say, I just acted like if I died, I put social media away, like as if I died and never came back. Like I did take my life away. Because in the end, it was too much for me. It was too much for me, and part of me, it was hard. And I told my brother to, this video for me was always going to be hard for me. There's just like some other videos I talk about, but a few of them, it comes to my mind a lot, but I try not to think about it too much, because in the end, it's going to make me upset, again, make me angry, and I don't want to do that to myself. And like I said, if anyone's experiencing stuff, any kid, woman or adult, going through this certain things in life, getting harassed, being cyberbullied and stuff in social media, doesn't matter what, social media, it's better to block people or, take yourself off of it, knowing that you don't have to worry having that feeling. Because when I walked away, it made my life easier. For 9 years. After those 9 years, it made my life easier. Because, like I said, I walked away. I never expressed myself again. Never took a picture. After that, I didn't want to take pictures. I never post anything no more. I didn't express myself. Like I said, even to this day, I use alias names. I'll never use my actual name whatsoever. I just want people to think that I've died and never come back to my life. Because like I said, there's people who hurted me so much. I don't want them back in my life. And there's people who try to fix things up, but in the end, it's like, I don't want to fix things up. I may forgive them, but I don't want them in my life again, because they made my life miserable. And then they always judge me too. As a kid, even though I tried to explain myself to them, but then they didn't want to listen. It's like, why would I want you back in my life? Why would I want you be part of my life again, knowing that all the things you've done to me made me feel miserable by myself, knowing that I could enjoy my teen years whatsoever and stuff. But in the end, like I said, I am glad that I came back after those 9 years, finally expressing myself again, knowing that I walked away, like I said. And I kind of wish I did talk to people that did know who are going through this problem too. And I feel like that anyone who relates to this and stuff, if you're going through any problems, you could either walk away from it, it will make things life better for you. I will say that for me it did and stuff. And like I said, even though I was already aware, but it made me more aware and see how people were. And I despised how people were treated, and I did take things a matter in my hand, and people used me for music and try to get attention as well. And like I said, I was cyberbullied a lot, and I hated my existence. I hated myself too. And even when I went back to school, in 10th grade, I wore a mask. Because I mentioned before that I wore a mask. How I wore a mask and I wore a hoodie. I did not want people seeing who I was anymore. I was ashamed who I was. I despised myself so much. To, like I said, for any kid who's going through this, or anyone in general going through this, I want to let you know that you're never alone. If you feel a certain way, you gotta always remember that your life will always matter. You cannot let these people take advantage of you, get the best of you, let them win. Because there's people who have died. There's people, even though I mentioned a video, but I'm not sure when, but I did talk about how suicide can be, in a way I find it selfish, but in the end, but sometimes it's not, because in the end, is that you want, in the end, if you want to be heard, you want to be seen, you want to be valued, you want people to be there for you, but they can't, and you feel like the world failed you, and sometimes some people can't take it no more, and they take their lives away. And like I said, even though I lost people in suicide and stuff, I wish I could talk to them again, and I wish that the knowledge that I have now, I wish I could talk to them, sit down with them, and let them know they're not alone. That I always will look out for them. And the people that who are watching this, you gotta remember too, you're not alone. Your life will always matter, even though you might not think that way. But in the end, you can always overcome things in life. You never have to listen to what people say about you or think the worst of yourself, well, in person or not. Because in the end of the day, those people can't control you. They can't. They're not the ones that are gonna pay your rent, pay your bills, or anything, take you where you know. These are just stupid people with stupid comments. And yeah, I don't want anyone to feel sorry for themselves, and I don't want people to feel sorry for me. It's just me who share my life with you, and I just want to be a voice. Like I always say, I just want to make a difference. I want people to know they always have a second chance as well in life, knowing that it's not your fault. And I wish I wasn't the only survivor in my friends, because like I said, I carry an emotional weight with me, and I would take it to my grave. But in the end, like I said, to me, the reason why I'll never change my channel Life with Regrets, because I will always regret everything I've done and the things I could have done. And I wish I thought differently. I wish that the way I think now, I wish I had this type of mentality as a kid before I walked away. And whether it's as cool as well in the music and stuff, at the end of the day, I will always see that life will always have a meaning, even if people might think the worst of the worst, and they might say they hate life, they might hate themselves, and at the end of the day, even though it's not fair for a lot of us who go through these things. And I know I sound like a crybaby right now, even though for me it's hard for me to make this video, but in the end, people will always matter to me. And I don't want people living in this trap thinking they're all alone. I don't want people to take their life away thinking that it's too late, that they can never be seen. In the end, you will always matter. In the end, I do want to save a life and then bring people down, because I know there's people that always bring people down as well. Even when they make their videos, they say so much negative and people feed onto it in the end. And then those people end up becoming trapped, and those people, who knows what happens to them. And I feel bad for some of those people too, as well, who may be seeing videos too as well, because sometimes they may say things but they never find peace in life. And for me, I am grateful that I found life, and I am grateful that I am sharing my story with you, to the viewers and stuff, because at the end of the day, that our life matters, and we can make a difference, and we can overcome obstacles in our life, in the challenges that the world brings us in the end. Even though some people might say it's unfair that we're not the ones that should, but in the end, life was always going to be unfair, and sometimes in a way it's like it's always us, the people who are the victims. Sometimes we have to be the bigger person, even if we don't like it. Because I'm not gonna lie, even though I was a victim of all these stuff, In the end, no one's gonna care for what happens to me, whether I live or die, besides my family. No, maybe a few people, but in the end of the day, those people are not gonna control my world. They're not gonna, I'm not letting those people talk down on me or think of the worst for me, thinking that I should die and everything. I'm not allow those people ever again, because in the end, I will shut those people down, talk back to them, call them out, because I'm not gonna be afraid anymore. I don't want to be that kid who's always afraid at the age of 16, 17 who walked away. I am done. Like I said, I'd rather take accountability and step up. I'd rather have a backbone than walking away and let people trample me. Because if I let people trample me, and I'm gonna go back the way I was, and I don't want to go back to the person who was always afraid, and who walked away from cyberbullying and everything that the world, that was everything that the world brought him and make him feel like his life was miserable. I don't want to be that guy. In the end, I'd rather be, like I said, I'd rather always be a leader and make a difference, and I'd rather help people, save lives, even though I might not be able to talk to people in person, every single person in the end of the day, but my message will always matter. Everything that I ever experienced, the knowledge, the words that comes out of my mouth, they will always mean everything to me, because in the end, this will always be like I said, this will always be my time capsule for me. Even though I may not have one in middle school or high school or elementary, doesn't matter when, in the end, those are all my rough years. At the end of the day, this will always matter to me more than anything in the school that I ever learned, and the things that I graduate. To me, none of that graduation stuff will always matter, because to me, this channel will always matter, because in the end, at least I'm able to share my life with you, and, make a difference and make people think that there's always going to be always a solution in life, and that people can always overcome, and they can always look back. And I don't want to be thanked for anything. Every video, I don't want to ever be thanked at the end of the day, because in the end, I'm just a voice, and for me, God was one of the reasons why I made the channel, besides myself and seeing how other people were. And like I said, I don't want anyone ever feel a certain way about themselves or think that they don't matter in life. And like I said, the music and stuff will always matter, and I will always share my music, even though I might not be the best artist or the best singer whatsoever. In the end, I will still always share it, because in the end, they will always have a meaning, and I will always let you know the truth. I'd rather be an honest person than be a liar, because many people these days always want to lie. They may say things that they experienced, but in the end of the day, they may either make stories up, or they make up lies, or they may say things that they were the victim, and that they never were. At the end of the day, you know who's telling the truth. And I'm not gonna be belittling other people, like I said. But like I said, I walked away from the social media for 9 years, and like I said, I never thought I was gonna come back whatsoever. But like I said, I am here, and I am sitting down, and you guys are hearing my story. Some people might think this video is too long, even though it is, but in the end, even though when I am done with my channel and everything, I will always leave everything behind. I will never delete anything that I ever post, because in the end, I want people to always look back. If they need anything in life, they can always look back at my videos and understand that they can always overcome anything. And I don't want people to be alone. I don't want people to kill themselves, or take someone's life away, because at the end of the day, you need peace. I want to see people with peace that hate and throw their life away because of certain people bring them down. And I wish that they talked to the person who made me, in a way made me made this channel as well. The partner I wish I had, the partner that I could share my life with, and the person I do see myself with, even though they're not with me. But other than that, and she knows I'll always be honest, because I hate lying, because I tell the truth as well. People who are victims, people like us, who deserve one another. not because we feel pain, but we understand each other, and we know that things will be better if we come together and unite as one. In my opinion, I will always say this, and this will always mean a lot for me, is that a community like this, people who go through problems, is better to have a community. Even if people might not agree with certain things, but in the end, it's better to have a community and bring others together as a whole. Us, the survivors, or anyone. It doesn't. It might not be people with suicide, or it could be victims of abuse or anything. In the end, we're all in this together, and we could always help one another. And the thing is that we're never alone. We always have each other. And to me, that will always matter. Because in the end, a community, at the end of the day, at least, we're accepted. We know who the people will accept us, and even though we might be valuable by other people, in the end, we'll be seen by others who understand and who knows what it feels like. And I am that person as well. Will always understand anyone. I will never criticize. I will never say to anyone who has problems in life. I will never tell anyone go see a psychiatrist. I will never throw anything at your face. Never. At the end of the day, I wouldn't want anyone throwing in my face. At the end of the day, knowing that I always got shitted on, and I always got so much disrespect at the end of so much as a kid, even through the adult years. At the end of the day, I will always want to make a difference in people's lives, and want people to see the future and to do better than give up and try to live those past memories or the things that always haunts us. And sometimes some of us we might not overcome, but in the end, I do want a lot of you guys to overcome things and get that emotional weight off, because to me that will always be the best feeling in life for me. Even though I may struggle with certain things, and there's certain things I do think about in my past, but in the end of the day, it's better to look forward than look back. Because I know at the end of the day that I did, like I said, I did something that people who were in my past, or people who never thought I was going to make it in life, never thought I was going to be alive. In the end, I can at least say I proved them wrong, and the stuff that I write, the things I'd say, the words that comes out of my mouth will always have a meaning and will always be useful and grateful. And that's all I have to say.